This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Meeting. We come before you with grateful hearts. Thank you for the beauty of this place, the blessings of our neighbors, and the opportunity to work together for the betterment of our community. We ask for your guidance as we engage in discussions and decision makings. May we approach each topic with humility and wisdom, striving to serve the needs of all our residents. Help us to listen with open hearts and minds, fostering an environment of respect and collaboration. As we move forward, let us be reminded that every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. May this wisdom guide our conversations today, leading us to be thoughtful and have a constructive dialogue. This we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pastor.
Now the Pledge of Allegiance. I
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next regular meeting of the board will take place on Tuesday, May 5th at 9 a.m. here at the Community Center. Please silence and turn off your cell phones. Key upcoming events for the month are the April 26th Strategic Planning Meeting and Board Supervisors Budget Guidance at 9 a.m. And then on May 25th, Memorial Day, the district office is closed. Now we're going to take public comment. That comment on anything that's not on the agenda tonight. You have up to 3 minutes to say what you want. You may or may not be answered at that moment.
Craig Herrick, 5123 Pebble Beach Drive. I want to discuss the management of our courses. The first responsibility of any management group that is brought in for the purposes of golf club management is the courses. It's either been 4 out of the last 5 or 5 out of the last 6 years. We have had issues with either one or more courses. This continues on. It's just something, if we keep doing what we've been doing and expect a different result, we all know what happens there. On top of that, Deer Run, which has always been a difficult course, has been made basically unplayable for the average golfer. They domed all of the greens after they were given specific instructions not to change the topography of the greens. They went ahead and did it their way. Now they're going to tote that we had a young teenage girl come out here and shoot like 6 under par. She had an exceptional round. I'll grant you that. The following day, she shot 13 strokes over that, and she never did equal again going under par. Plus, she is a very, very good golfer. We cannot continue to let, in my opinion, Troon, Indigo run our courses. We have seen, again, no improvement or very little. I'll get wrenching. I have seen improvements in the fairways. I see grass where we haven't had grass before. But greens are the most essential portion of a golf course. And while we don't have any grass on Deer, each golfer, average golfer, their handicap went up 4 to 5 strokes after what was done to that course. And we're going to have to put up with that with years to come. We can't continue, in my opinion, to have somebody supposedly manage our courses that first doesn't listen to us. We own the course. The district owns the course. Troon, Indigo, whatever you want to call them, doesn't own that course. And they should be following our instructions. I sure would ask you to review the contract with them and why we want to continue doing what we've been doing. Thank you.
Anyone else? Is there anyone else? Okay, we'll move on. Oh, here we go.
We're from Deeron Homeowners Association, and we're just asking for a meeting with Mr. Mark. He's a commissioner here, board member, and we need to talk to him and discuss some things. And I don't know if this is the right time, but we have been trying to get in touch with him, and so that you all make decisions, and we want all individuals who make decisions to make sure that there's a spirit of integrity. And when you're making decisions for other people, you have to be in alignment. Being a retired warden, there's rules of prohibited conduct, there's actions, their behavior that individuals in leadership must follow. Because if you don't, you create a precedence. You create something that causes other people to want to do what you want to do. If you're not in line with what association says, regardless of how you feel. When you moved out here, all of us in community moved out here. We moved out here and we received some things, and it's really for us to adhere to those things that we signed on to do. And so we're just asking him to see us anytime. We've been trying to get in touch with him so that we now can move forward, because I know he's a man of integrity, because he's asked for this prayer to come, and we appreciate what he do. And I think we can resolve that between us. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Rhonda, I believe that this is the perfect time for Reverend Chan to voice this is a board meeting. He is a member of the board, so anything that is addressed and it affects all the members of Sun and Lakes, I think it should be addressed right here and right now.
No.
Mark Camp resident. I'm not sure this is the forum to discuss anything that might be of private nature as it pertains to an HOA. And I personally, this is just my personal opinion, don't want to go through something that they might try to hash out. HOAs are designed to have a staff or a board, and they should be talking to that staff and board. And if it involves one of our members here on the board of supervisors, then he or she should attend that meeting and try to get it clarified. But to bring it in front of the whole community here, I just think it's improper. My personal opinion.
Any other comments? First up is motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Mr. McLaughlin.
Yes.
Mr. Carmona.
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin. Vice President Phillip.
Yes.
And President Norton.
Yes. All right, now on to the action agenda. First up, we have a proclamation on Child Abuse Prevention Month. Boz, you want to comment on this at all?
You all going to speak to this?
Yes, how are you, everybody? My name is Victor Garcia. I work as a victim advocate from the Children's Advocacy Center. This is my supervisor, Gail Worley, with the Children's Advocacy Center. We're here representing today the Children's Advocacy Center and the Highlands County Board of County Commissioners regarding the proclamation for recognition of Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Did you want to add anything to that?
So this was a approach to the district by the county. We have no precedence. We've never done a proclamation, to be honest with you, for this or any other issue. And since it was a creature of the county creation as well as county legal, I'll leave it to the board if you want to, we can support it in nature, but just understand, we've never done a proclamation as a board of supervisors for any event, any significant event like this. So I just defer to the board on any action if you want to support it, but
I, no,
I certainly support the nature of it.
absolutely.
We've never, like Dawson mentioned, this is precedent setting, if you will. Personally, I would like to have heard about this a month ago to talk about tonight rather than 4 days ago when I first learned of it. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but I certainly support the idea, of course. But I'm not sure we want to go down the road of a proclamation that we've never done, not this subject, but any proclamation that we've not gone down before.
I agree with that.
Do we want to vote on that, or
Do we have to vote on
no, don't have to. If no action is no action.
it? Okay,
I think we agree there's no action at this point?
yes.
It is very ceremonial, yes, sir. Proclamations are usually cities and towns and villages do them. We don't. The county did it at the county level, I believe.
That's correct. It's been observed by Avon Park as well as city of Sebring and Lake Placid.
I'm not going to do it today.
I defer to the president, sir.
I think,
Any other comments? John, do you have any?
No comment. I think if it's just ceremonial and there's no legal emphasis on it, then
but
it shouldn't be an issue.
Again, my only fear is going down a rabbit hole with other things that come up.
Yeah.
That
I agree. And until I don't want, I think that at the very least, our legal has to go over it. A proclamation is, I certainly support the idea, but I don't know, we've never done this before and I don't want to set a precedent.
is this a yearly thing?
It's a monthly thing,
Yes, it is. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month
right?
throughout the state of Florida and
Right.
many other states for the entire month.
And has anyone in Highlands County prior to this year issued that proclamation, like Highlands County or the Sebring or?
Yes, it's been issued for years by the Highlands County BOCC, the city of Lake Placid, the city of Sebring, and the city of Avon Park. I apologize if you didn't get enough notice. I thought we had let you know about a month ago,
Mm-mm.
but again, I apologize for you not getting enough notice. We completely understand if you need legal to review it, and perhaps we can come back next year and try
Perfect.
again.
I would be very supportive of that. I just want to be
Yeah.
sure we're going down the right path.
That's fine. We appreciate you even considering it and putting us on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you. Next up, we have the Sheriff of Highlands County here. As I understand, you have maybe some comments, but there's also kind of an open forum where we and everybody else can ask questions.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, Paul Blackman, Highlands County Sheriff. So I was invited here by Mr. Bossert. I guess there was some discussion on extra law enforcement presence within the Sun and Lakes community. And there was some discussion that was had regarding maybe hiring your own deputy sheriff or hiring your own or starting your own police force or starting to do an extra duty detail. And there was a lot of question back and forth. And Mr. Bossert and I met along with my major over the Law Enforcement Bureau. And it was his idea that maybe I come here to answer any questions that anyone might have regarding any one of those particular types of scenarios. So I made myself available to be here to answer any questions, but we don't have to stick to that. We can discuss anything you want to discuss that I have any relevance in.
I guess my first question would be, is maybe not dealing exactly with that, but same genre. How does, in your view, Sun and Lake compare to other communities in the county as far as having major issues or a lot of issues, just kind of where we stand?
Sure. So again, this would be my opinion based upon looking at analytical data just from calls for service, the amount of patrol hours spent in a community, and the types of crimes that we have. I would say Sun and Lakes is very safe. We don't have a lot of issues here. I know we recently had some burglaries. Some vehicle burglaries that we were able to solve and make, I think, 3 different arrests on those and recover some stolen guns.
Just stop you for a second.
Yep.
I mean, my neighbor was affected, so you did arrest somebody?
Yes,
Okay.
if we're discussing the ones that happened about a month, 2
Yes.
months ago, yes, sir. We were able to make an arrest on those particular
Good,
burglaries.
good, okay.
And then, but what seems to be our issue, or what draws the most attention for us in the community, is traffic violations. But be safe in knowing that that happens all over the county.
Mhm.
Sun and Lakes is not the outlier in that. We get, whether it be Leisure Lakes, Orange Blossom Estates, Avon Park Estates, traffic issues is our #1 complaint. And I actually brought some of our 2025 annual reports. I have them in the back. If any of your community members, I'll leave them on the table. They're more than welcome to pick those up and browse through them and ask any questions about that kind of stuff. But you'll see, really, with all the information that's in there, traffic enforcement is a big deal to us. I think last year in 2025, over 12,000 traffic stops and thousands of citations issued and stuff. It's just a problem that doesn't seem to go away. We quill it here for a little bit and it pops up somewhere else, and it's a never-ending battle with it.
Sir, how do you perceive to what is your scope as far as violations, speeding violations, stop sign violations, things like that? Are you going to have a patrolman sitting in a specific area?
Well, that would be up to you guys. I can tell you how we currently do it.
Mhm.
Sun and Lakes falls in a particular zone for us, and we have a deputy that's assigned to what we call Alpha 5, and that deputy, Alpha 5, would cover the west side of Highway 27, Sun and Lakes down south of Long 27 to Sebring Country Estates, Tanglewood, and that area.
Mhm.
There's about 5,000 residents in that particular zone. And so one deputy is responsible for that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then, so I can tell you, within Alpha 5 zone over last year, there was 21 arrests made. The majority of those arrests were traffic arrests that were on 27. So that tends to be where the deputy spends most of his or her time, only coming into the community when when they're being proactive, meaning they don't have a call for service that they're currently responding to, or they're just out what we call patrolling. And I couldn't tell, I could give you a breakdown on what the most frequent call for service is, but I don't have that data with me. Again, I was under the impression we were going to talk about.
I guess my
extra duty.
ultimate question is, will you be putting, for this extra service that we're going to talk about here,
Mhm.
will you be putting a patrolman, say, on Sun Lake Boulevard and radar and all that?
So that is totally your discretion. If you are going to hire an off-duty deputy, that deputy, and Mr. Boster and I had this discussion, that deputy is at your service. Whatever you want them to do, I guess you could make that decision as a board. You would give us that information, where you want the extra time spent, where you want the deputy to patrol, to whether it be traffic or knocking on doors and just, being a community relations type of deputy. That is your decision if you decide to go that way.
Sheriff, based on your experience and based on the calls for service that have been coming here, do you think it's necessary that we add additional patrol, or is it your opinion that we need additional deputies over here?
In my opinion, no, sir, you don't need it. It would be icing on the cake, so to speak. It would be something that if you felt you need it, if you feel you need it, then you need it. It's not really up for me to say. I can tell you, we do the analytics on all of the zones to see if we need to manipulate our zone structure to change it based on calls for service or population, and that's both the North District and the South District. We look at those constantly. And as of right now, the Alpha zone, the Alpha 5 zone is one of our slower zones.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you personally that I've seen a number of cars speeding in our community. A number of vehicles running the stop signs that we put up.
Well, even I should say, and I don't want to give someone false hope, even if you decided to go with a deputy, a full-time deputy, or you wanted to go with an extra duty deputy where you kind of manipulate the times when you want them to work, it would be foolish of me to stand up here and tell you, well, they're going to solve every single traffic problem. Even if you put
Absolutely
3
not.
deputies in here, you're still going to have folks that witness traffic violations. It's just the way it is. The presence of law enforcement being here will subdue the violation somewhat, but it will never get rid of all of them.
Okay.
So for clarification for the board, and working with Sheriff Blackman, we as the district, we have a contract budget bucket, I'll call it, for this as well as other contract labor that we require. So for this month, for 30 days, we've reached out and he's assigned a deputy that will work for us exactly how explained. This is an off-duty deputy, I believe, that signs up for the hours. They'll work for the district from 8 to 16 hours a week. We're going to pay out of that bucket. But at the end of that month period, we're going to be able to get some metrics to see, to answer your exact question, sir, what did we get a bang for our buck for that period of time with additional focus only on traffic enforcement. They're not knocking on doors. They're not doing, parking patrol. They're focused in areas that we have speed radar devices that have given us some high density areas. We're providing that list to the deputy when he comes on board. He works with our public safety department hand in hand. So I think we're going to get some good data this next month to either continue that test or to come back to you and say, hey, I think we're fine with the proper coverage that they're providing to date. We really have more of a perception rather than a reality, and we'll take it from there. So,
This additional cost, what is that going to be for the month?
I think it's come out to $3,600 for the month. Yes, sir.
3,600.
Sir. Yeah.
Just so you know, just for your knowledge, our deputies make 40 on an off-duty detail, which is exactly what this would be. They make $45 an hour. So depending upon how many hours, we usually do a minimum of 3 hours. And we only do that because a deputy won't come out and work on his day off for 1 hour.
Yeah.
3 hours seems to make it worth his or her time. They come out and work. And that's kind of what we do.
What, you charge us 45, the same amount you pay the deputy?
So we charge $50 an hour. The deputy makes 45.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So Boz, just curiosity, have we told them where our focus is? I mean, we just started Monday.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We just started yesterday.
So where was the focus? Just so I know, if someone asks me, I want to be able to answer. I want to avoid it.
We honestly, we have the usual suspects are Ponce de Leon, Columbus, obviously Sun Lake Boulevard, and then we have San Ignacio inside some of our HOA areas, Granada, Cortez. We have the usual locations. So we provide that data to the sheriff or the deputy that comes on station, and they rotate for their period of time to those different areas. They're not sitting on Granada for 8 hours. We're moving them around because they're working with our public safety. I think we're going to get some good data. We're not worried about the conviction rate or nothing. We would like to get some data afterwards of how many tickets, how many warnings, that type of data, so we can provide back to you. Is this something we need to budget for annually, or are we going to be just doing it when needed? So that is the most asked for service from our residents to the district offices. Can you get us additional traffic enforcement? Because our public safety are not powered to do that. So,
And I think our residents ask that because they want it, but they don't want to pay $1 million to get it.
that's true.
So,
So,
I
apologize. Go ahead, sir.
my only thing, I've been here a while and we went back and forth with this. I'm really not in favor of this personally, but I'm waiting to hear what I hear from, because I think what happens is, it'd be some good data, but it's the cost that's involved. I do know when we tried it once before, didn't know it till afterwards. The general manager had instructed the officer not to give tickets, just to stop people. They didn't ask the board. So I don't know what he's told you, but,
That has not happened.
but I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm glad that you came here and talked to us.
Yes, sir. Well, I can tell just from my experience, and it only is, it's 33 years in law enforcement, but I can tell you, if we write citations, we're going to get complaints. If we don't write citations, we're going to get complaints. So I don't know how to make them all happy.
Yeah, but there's no reason of having the extra help if we decide to pay for it and just warn people, because it doesn't work. So, in my opinion, so.
Understood. Well, just to echo what Mr. Bossert said, you know, I mentioned earlier, roughly in a year, we write about 13,000 citations. I'm sorry, 13,000 traffic stops. About 4,000 citations are written on those 12,000. So we issue about 8,000 warnings. I like to see about a 75-25 split on that. But within that, talking about his biggest complaint is traffic. Throughout the county, just last year alone, we had 2,141 requests for traffic patrol in particular areas. We keep that documented. We pull CADs to say, okay, this particular area is wanting traffic control. Over 2,000 of those within a year period. So you can do the math on that. That's a lot of requests.
Sure is.
Well, I appreciate you coming here to speak with us.
Yes,
And
very
I'm
much.
definitely in
Thank
favor of having your patrolman here. I would definitely ask that we consider that.
Well, if there's no more questions for me, I'm going to stick around. I'm not going to go anywhere
Right.
unless y'all get around midnight. Then I'm going to get out of here. If you get that long, I'm not familiar with
It's
how
been
long
known to
your
happen.
So you've heard about these meetings.
if your meetings go too long, it'll be way past my bedtime. But
No,
I'll
I'm-
stick around if anybody has any additional questions afterwards, and or if something comes up while we're sitting here. So
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
thank you.
Before we move on, Mr. President, Commissioner Kerouac's here in case you want to
Sure.
give him some
There
more
he
time.
is.
Are you good, sir? You just come to hang out with us? Are you good? Okay.
Nothing new to report, Scott?
Good to see you. Thank you.
All right, agenda item C is discussion on golf membership discounts.
This is really a discussion because there's no data in your packet. We had a citizen raise this as a concern to a board member. Board member asked me to put it on the agenda, so that's the process. So it's really, if we want to start with the discussion with where is he at? Yes, sir, I'm sorry, I'm looking right at you. That's really the genesis. This is the member discounts that we as a district authorize for golf members. These are full paid memberships, and we offer them a discount at the pro shop and the restaurant because of their membership. It's an operational decision that's made for energizing purchases. And I'll leave it at that. So,
And
open
how
up.
long have we been doing this?
How long have we been doing discounts, Mike?
3 years? Year and a half?
Yeah, we started. Yeah, well, 2 years, two budget
years.
cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New budget
I-
cycle.
I think the documentation on the website says we give 10% discount to the pro shop, but it doesn't mention the other location. So did we extend that
To the
part?
restaurant, yes, sir.
So everything else has always been that way. And is it a 10% discount at the
10%.
restaurant too?
10% restaurant, pro shop, yes, sir.
Only if you put it on your account.
We do yes, we want you to use your account
Only
with
if
the
you put it on your
district.
account.
Well,
And
so
that's a benefit to the district because then we're controlling the money, honestly.
the
Yes.
the issue is the restaurant's losing money, and has it been losing money for a year and a half, or is there a coincidence that they're losing money?
No, sir.
No.
Not tied to membership.
Should we hold back on that discount at that location for until we get into the profit zone. I don't agree.
Discussion, sir.
My feeling on this whole thing as a paying dues member, I believe that it's a good idea because it brings people in. I would also like to add that perhaps we can go and extend that to the residents of Sun Lake, perhaps a 10% discount for them, which would then encourage more people to attend the restaurant. I think we would promote business in that respect.
So on a rotating basis, we offer HOAs, and if you're not in an HOA, I'll say like the ABC Streets, Old Sun and Lake,
Right.
based on your address, we offer on probably twice a year a discount for, and we message that for a whole week. We offer that discount for those entities throughout the year. So not standing, but on a rotating basis, we offer all the Sun Lake residents the same 10%. The difference there is I have a dues paying $6,000 golf membership that's investing that into the district and eating at the same time and spending their money there. It's really just a perk of membership. That's the way we look at it from the business side of it. It's the same
Right.
discount you could get at like an Outback or a Chili's or.
How was it received with the different communities, different areas of our community? Did we get a lot of people? I mean,
So the challenge we have there is we basically only ask what street you live on. We message it. They could come in there and say, I live on Matanzas, and we're going to give them a discount. They may live on San Ignacio. Let's be honest with you. So it's hard to capture the metrics of that, other than offering that week period to an entity within the district, and then people come in and use it or not use it.
right. Well, based on the discussion from the resident, I feel that we should be offering a 10% discount to all residents, which would therefore stimulate the restaurant business. That's how I feel about it.
I hear where you're going. Let me put some math numbers to that, sir,
Okay.
because that is a definite hit to a bottom line to Dr. McLaughlin's.
No, I'm sure it would, but we
The
would
issue is
also
what is
encourage
the
people to be
profit
there.
margin at the restaurant going to be? Is it a 10% profit margin that they're making? And if you're giving everybody 10%, then you're not making any profit. And then we're already $200,000 in debt for the year, the last time I looked. And how deep in debt are we going to go and are we going to close? We're trying to grow and expand, and that's not working. So we need to think about this. Maybe put it on pause until we get into the profit side. And once we get back to where we should be, then we could start it back again.
So understand the last time we did the numbers on the impact of discounts on our sales, the members, because now we can track it because they have their member card and we know exactly when they order, what they order.
Mm-hmm.
The member participation in a restaurant hovers around 30% of our sales. It's just members. So just that membership group of 30% are taking advantage of this 10% discount. In the business model we use a 20% margin, profit margin. So we now reduce to 10% for that group. But 70% of our restaurant are non-members. They're paying, and if I would counter the point of you think we're losing money. I think our restaurant is breaking even, if not going to get very successful. Let's be honest with you. So I don't think we're not cutting into the bone with a discount. We're taking a little bit less of our profit margin, but it energizes because it's more of an optic. You go into a restaurant, whatever restaurant, you know you're getting a discount. You order the appetizer, you order the dessert, you expand on your menus. No one is coming in there saying, I'm getting my 10%. Let me just take this burger and take 10%. That's not the methodology people use in shopping. Just be honest with you, sir. It incentivizes expenditures. Just that 30% of members that participate in our revenue, in our sales of food and beverages, generates close to $600,000, $700,000 a year. Just them. The other 1.3 million that our restaurant makes are the other people.
Paying full price.
Paying full price, yes.
I think we need more people paying full price.
Just for my clarity, is the member at a table of 6, and with one member?
We do not give the whole table.
No.
It's-
No.
Was
No.
the member.
But then that member buys appetizers for the whole table for his bill.
He would get a discount.
Yeah.
He's buying it. Yes, sir. He
Yeah.
puts it on his bill. Yeah. He puts it on his bill. Yeah.
So to that point, if he buys for the whole table, dinner and everything on his bill, that's 10% for the whole bill?
That's the way we would track it, right? Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. It's on his bill. I mean, still making money.
I mean, I'm just for clarity for
Yes, sir.
myself.
Yeah.
And they can pay him later.
So can we look at the idea?
We'll look at the numbers if we did a holistic, every Sun Lake resident.
Okay,
We'll work some numbers. Yes, sir. We can
Yeah.
bring that back to you.
thank you.
Is there any public comment on that topic?
My name's Bill Messline, 4510 Calatrava. The reason I brought this up was the fact that we are losing money at the restaurant. And we, the residents, there's 500 members to the golf committee. There's 13,000 members or people that live in 7 fields. And we're supporting the golf course financially in many ways. And I just don't see this as being profitable for the restaurant or for the community to go ahead and support golf memberships by giving them discounts. And I would say that would go for any discounts that the restaurant's offering. I'm not sure if they offer discounts to anybody else, but until the restaurant's profitable, I think any discount should be eliminated. And as a resident, I'm just tired of continuing to use our district funds for 500 people that belong to the golf course. You know, we use them to repair the greens. We use them for a lot of different things. And I just don't think it's, you know, we got to put an end to it somewhere. And this is taking a stand. So that's why I asked to have it put on the agenda. And I would encourage the board to eliminate the discount. Thank you.
Brian Gross. I'm going to speak in favor of the discount. And the reason is the golf members pay thousands of dollars for the membership, and it's a perk of membership to have that discount. I want to give you a couple examples. Men's Golf Association puts on in excess of 15 tournaments a year that includes anywhere from, let's say, 60 players to 200. And many of those tournaments, most of those tournaments have a meal afterward. And we do charge an entry fee, but that covers the meal. The cost of food has gone up significantly, more than 15%. We do get a discount for those events, but then 20% is added for tip and also tax. So by the time you do that, there's very, very little left over for prizes, for example. So I wouldn't be opposed to offering everybody else a 10% discount, but of the 13,000 residents, I'll bring up another point. Golf members also pay for a trail fee to use the golf course on the course, and they have to provide proof of insurance, which is a couple $100 a year. There are carts racing all around this community, and I would almost bet you that none of those are paying a trail fee when they're out on the golf course, or I would be surprised if they actually have them insured. So if we're going to take a discount for food, then I'm proposing that we monitor all the other golf carts in the community, charge them a fee, have them have a proof of insurance as well. Thank you.
Having a golf membership is your choice. Just because you can and it's something that you enjoy,
Would you
should
speak
have
closer
it.
to the microphone, please?
Microphone.
If you want it, you should have it. If it's something that you want to do, you have the time to do, you enjoy doing, that's wonderful. But for the other people who are not golfers, and I agree with the gentleman who was here, we still do a lot to keep this community going. Despite what everybody here seems to think. This is not just a golf community. There are other things that go on here. And the restaurant is going to continue to lose money until they get some good advertisements, some good stuff. There's a lot of things. They have good food. I go there. I've been part of the thing for the test that's being done. But the problem is because when there's golfers involved, they are there. They're not there after 6, 8 o'clock at night. They go in after the golf rounds, have a few drinks, eat early, home. The rest of the people have to support from 6 o'clock to 8, 9, 10, however late it's going to be open. Your staff there at the restaurant, which I have talked to extensively, they have other jobs because they can't support themselves by just working at Sun and Lakes Restaurant because there's not enough business. So to continue to give a perk to people who choose what they want to do with their retirement, with their time, whatever they want to do in their off time, what about all the other people who have different hobbies and different things to do? You do not hear them complaining and asking for a 10% discount because they have a golf membership. If you choose it, you want it, that's for you. But it shouldn't affect the rest of everybody, and it should not affect that restaurant. They're losing money because they don't have enough business.
Good evening, Jennifer Monroe, 3318 Sunrise Drive. I may be mistaken, but I believe that members only get a discount when they put it on their account. And the point of that was to save the tens of thousands of credit card fees for people who use credit cards. So the 70% who are not members who are coming in and using credit cards are costing the club quite a bit. I don't know what the figure is today in credit card fees. We don't get a discount because we're members. We get a discount because we're willing to put it on our account and not on our credit card. So we're not getting points, we're not getting rewards. We're just trying to help the club out by not having to pay our credit card fees. So I think there is a misconception about this membership discount. So I think there's a lot of other benefits to having members as far as property values, because we have a golf course and we have avid golfers. There are some wonderful studies. I think we ought to get a new one. We can pick it up from the Realtors Board that tells you what your values are when you have a golf course community for your house versus when you do not. So every non-golfing member benefits from the value added to their residence because of the golf community. And we have very specific studies that show that every year, and maybe our residents need to see that. Thank you.
So if I understood correctly, according to the young lady here, so if I want to go to the restaurant and I want to open an account, whether I'm a golfer or not, and I want to come in there and I want to open an account and pay by check or cash or whatever, so I'm not using a credit card. The world is paid by credit card, the groceries, everything. So is that available? Because nobody has mentioned it. I would love to have an account at the restaurant. So I could just go in and say, hey, put this on my account, even though I'm not a golfer. Is that available?
It is not for non-members, but I can add that to the discussion about giving
Well,
discount.
it seems to be, it should be, because there seems to be a miscommunication because they're not using their credit cards. They're saving the restaurant thousands of dollars in credit card fees. I totally disagree with that, and it was a bad analogy. But if anybody wants to have an account there, who do you have to go see?
We'll get back to you, ma'am. One more to follow on that. We got to set it up, see if we can manage it. Yep.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
it's a good
I'll be
point.
waiting.
It's a good point. Open to it.
Yeah.
It's easy to do.
Yes, it is very easy
It
to
is,
do.
yes,
And
ma'am.
if that is the reason that they're getting this discount because they're paying with a check at the end of the month, well, then please let the rest of us join on the bandwagon.
Yes, ma'am. Great point.
Kim Gross, Pebble Beach. I'll probably get struck by lightning, but I agreed with Rhonda in the beginning of her statement. I think we should consider a social membership.
Yeah, Denny.
Denny just sat down.
You got it.
You stole Denny's thunder.
Social membership so that people would have an account to put their bills on. And, you know, there can be member perks that come along with that social membership. We have a lot of people that go in there and play cards at various times of the week, bar poker, blah, blah, blah. And if they would have a social membership, maybe they would eat, maybe they would drink, maybe they would stay a little longer. So something to consider.
Good idea.
Anyone else? So my takeaway is I owe you guys back a discussion or a recommendation on social membership. Big fan of that. Makes sense. I just had to sign up my mom for one in South Carolina. So there you go. And then if we offered a floating discount to all Sun Lake residents, the financial impact. of that.
I think honestly, Boz, that, you know, social membership is an excellent idea. And I think if we had something like that, we wouldn't need what I
We
suggested.
would need, we
All right,
would
well, we'll
need,
work some numbers out and get with you guys to see if you want to offer that as an option. Yep,
we've had social
Makes sense.
memberships before,
I got you.
and they worked.
All right, so we're good. I got my marching orders.
Okay.
I'm sorry, ma'am, if you want to speak, you have to stand up to the mic.
Who will be invited to be a part of that to see what a social membership involves instead of you just coming up with figures and then nobody knows anything until you hit it?
We will decide that we will
board
get
decide.
together and have it.
Pardon me?
The board will decide. They will.
Thank you, Beverly.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to action item D, an update on the termination of the Tanglewood lease, and a motion to approve that termination.
I have a question.
Yes.
I didn't see the new contract. Is it just,
It's the lease.
oh,
Well, we have been working with the Tanglewood folks. We'll terminate the lease, and in exchange, they would have an encroachment agreement that would allow their sign to stay. We worked with them about 2 months ago. We sent them an encroachment agreement that I didn't address all of their desires, and now it's radio silence. So we just want to move forward and say, okay, we're terminating the lease. You guys can all still come back. Tanglewood, please come back, and if you're interested with the encroachment agreement, but we want to get that lease terminated as soon as possible.
Okay.
well, what
We're
happened? Go ahead.
We're terminating the sign lease. Is that correct?
We are terminating the sign lease.
Okay, we're talking about the sign.
The sign, well, it's actually
street.
maintenance,
Yeah,
yeah. The maintenance.
Yeah, okay.
So the district will take over maintenance, and then it'll be up to, if Tanglewood doesn't enter into an encroachment agreement with the district then is within its discretion to remove their sign.
Yes, we are. Okay,
So
I just wanted to be
we want to
clear.
move things along, and they've been a little slow to respond.
That's fine. I think we should terminate it, but I don't want to accept the new thing till you come to the board and let us
Well,
see
that's
it.
just it. So all we're
Okay.
gonna do is terminate. We get power control back of the road. It's more than the sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
it's
whole
right.
road, the easement.
Well, that's the
sign.
thing. It's not.
Let's terminate it, and then the ball is in their court to come back to us to offer a memorandum. You will bring that back.
Okay, well,
Janice will review it. You'll bring it back because it's in.
that
the-
was
Yeah.
my, that's
in your
what I
decision.
wanted.
Yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
What's the downside of not having the lease in place?
Downside is for the Tanglewood,
For
I
them.
think.
But then
I
it's
mean,
none
for the
us.
district, the downside is the district has to assume the maintenance of the roadway. But I think that's an upside for the district because they have more control over what the level of maintenance. The downside for them for not signing, the lease expires next year, 2027, regardless. This is pushing it forward. So the downside for them for not signing the encroachment agreement is that the district can remove their sign at any time. at least if they sign the encroachment agreement, they have an agreement in place with the district. The district will not remove the sign, but they have to maintain it.
Is there anything else we're proposing that is distasteful to them?
I think what Tanglewood wanted was the ability to still use the median the way they wanted to. So to put, I believe, their broker signs only to the exclusion of everybody else. They wanted the district to get more involved in the signage for Dollar General and some other signage, which is outside of the scope. I think it was mostly they wanted more control over the median. But the district doesn't do that for any other HOAs, so Boz was not supportive of the request to give them anything extra that's not already provided to the other HOAs.
They wanted to maintain very restrictive rules on any other signs from turn 2, from the U-Haul. We just need to get control back of our road, and we will be fair and make sure everyone gets a fair shake. We have no intentions to take down Tanglewood sign. We'll get this sorted out. We'll get a memorandum. They'll be responsible for it. They'll pay the bills for it. But we don't need them slow rolling this and us sitting in a wait status when we just need to terminate it. That'll force the issue.
Yeah.
And the other thing was the level of landscaping that they wanted. They wanted, certain flowers, certain bushes. They wanted to have more control over the selection of landscaping. That was a no-go.
And again, we're being consistent in how
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would make a motion to approve the termination of the Tanglewood lease.
I second the motion.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Carmona,
Yes.
and President Northen.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll send them notification. We'll send them saying it's been terminated, and then the ball's in their court.
But we'll certainly get a copy and get, before it's agreed
Yes, sir.
to,
We'll
it
come
will
back
come
to
in
you with
front
the
of us.
memorandum.
Okay,
If they need if they're asking for anything, you'll see it again.
that's
We want
what
to
I,
prove it.
okay.
Any public comment on that topic?
When the Tanglewood community comes over,
Can't hear you.
It's not so hard. Just speak
well,
up.
it's hard to hear you
Just speak up to the mic,
sometimes,
please.
too.
That's all.
My only question is, when the Tanglewood community is coming over to use our golf course facilities and all that roadway between them, the little backwood road and stuff like that, is that their responsibility, or does it still fall to us? And
From the gate into Tanglewood is them.
Yeah.
From the gate into Sunny Lake, we're responsible for Ponce de Leon. Yes, ma'am.
okay, that's
That's our-
all I wanted to know. Thank you.
But that's their gate, right?
Yes.
It's their gate. They
Yeah.
maintain the gate, the security of the gate and everything. Yeah.
Okay, next up is action item D, motion to approve the 2026 road resurface plan.
Okay, it's that time of year where we execute our resurfacing plan. So for the past 3 years, we've done close to 3 miles every year to keep on track with touching, what we call touching every road in the next 30 years. And that keeps our road network pretty robust. We average, the average cost for a resurface, and that's not a spray or an additive, that's an actual grind away, put new asphalt down, is 90 to 180K a mile. So it's a very costly endeavor. We try to focus on stretches of roads as well as main intersections. And then what we've done for the past 2 years is add concrete curbing gutter so we can take more control of our stormwater shedding. That's what we did last year. We're going to continue that. So that's a large cost of our resurfacing plan. So it's a combination of hitting roads, but also doing what we should do with our curbing gutter. So we're going to continue that. We do a piggyback with the city of Sebring, which is the excavation point. So that's the contract that we're approving. Or you guys will authorize that we can execute the resurface plan. We don't bid this out. We just do a piggyback. They're the only ones in town that does that level of work. And we've used them for more than 5, 10, 6 years. So we have established 3 years ago a road budget, a reserve. It's now at $1.2 million. Every year we budget close to $300,000 in addition. So we build a very robust amount of money that we can throw on average about 400,000, 500,000 a year at this project. And so we're going to continue that. We categorize with our engineer. We did this 3 years ago, and we just keep building on it. There's 10 categories of a road. This is just for, historical context here. If it's brand new, a lot of our roads, it's a 10 or 9. We don't really touch those. We just observe them. If it's in the bottom sector there, a 1 or 2 asphalt road, it's basically close to degradation or just total collapse. So we need to put some energy there. You see there the metrics. 70% of our roads are in a pretty good condition because they're either very new or we hit them in the past couple years. But over 30% of our roads are original roads from 50 years ago. And they're the ones we're having to address. The challenge we have here, we weigh the amount of people that live on a road, we weigh the damage to the road, but we do need to address across the district some of these roads that may be in less dense areas. Otherwise, we will have a major repair that will take all our money for that year if we don't resurface on a regular basis. So that's where, to some of the questions of, well, why you're doing out past Cortez, why you're doing out, we have to. It's part of our network. We have to touch a little bit, but the majority of our work is in areas that are more populated. So
I have a question on that.
Yes, sir.
Can you go back? That 1 to 3, 31% of roads, did that number change much in the last 3 years?
It went down by 3% last year with our past
So
few
it
years.
was
of work.
34% before.
Yeah, so it ticks down when
Okay,
we
and
put,
how about the top one?
and the top ticks up. Oh, well, the top may not tick up. The 8s and 9s will tick up. The top will tick up, but that's really a brand new road. So that's like
So we're
Edgewater.
progressing. My point is, we're not static. We're getting better.
Oh, yes, sir. No,
Okay.
no, we're hitting the problem areas and moving them up the chain. A movement from a 4, this is now engineer geek speak here. A movement from a 4 to a 3 is probably about 5 years. It's some time we have to address those. We really have to, a movement from a 3 to a 2 could be a year, could be less than that, because they're really compromised. So here is our plan that we're working with our engineers right now. If it's in yellow, it's an immediate repair this year. If it's a circle, it's an immediate intersection we have to address.
I
So-
have a question regarding
sir.
the long line road there. It's in yellow. That's Pebble Beach West, I guess you could say.
Pebble Beach West, yes.
And that's where all the major construction is going on right now. Is it something that we can defer until they're done with that
Well,
construction?
you see that being reduced to half for that exact reason. There's a segment of Pebble Beach that still has some construction. We're not going to do that. So it'll be segmented. But the area mostly in yellow, like I said, there's a little segment to the north there. We're going to push somewhere else. That is all built out, so that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
But we look at that. We look at the density of houses and if there's going to be a lot of construction. Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's about a half mile that's not on here yet. So we're looking at some areas in Old Sun and Lake, Florida Avenue, and some other areas there. Our north quadrant is pretty good. They're all pretty good roads. We're looking in the Savona area. There's some road networks there that are original. So that you'll see some more yellow pop up once the engineer gets back to me. And now the excavation point guys are looking at to get it in with the budget numbers. You'll see about 5 more intersections pop up that are really degraded. You'll see total collapse on the sides, and that's where we'll increase some work there to get the intersections fixed so we can add the roads at a later time.
What about the roads that aren't mentioned as far as in that 1 to 3 category? For example, on Myrtle Beach, when you walk on Myrtle Beach, there's some really bad spots on the edge of the road that if you're not careful, you'll trip and fall on them. All right.
So
Is
that
something
would
to
not be
consider?
part of our road surface plan. That's part of our operations in roads department. So they have about a $200,000 budget to address that type of repair.
Okay.
But it's not going to show up on this.
Won't
This
show up
is
in
this is a full blown scrape it out, put new asphalt down for a segment of road.
Okay. All right.
These are areas that the district long-range plan will be putting in roads over time. Usual suspects just north of the wastewater plant, the new wastewater plant, units 6 and 7. I highlight the unit 12 area. That's what we sold last year. That's really just long-range plan based on that developer. We won't do it. That developer owes us a plan to put those roads in when they're ready. There's been no discussion with that developer since then, but just understand that that's a segment. And then you see a circle to the north. This is Caballero and Cortez. That's that area north of Coconut Grove, Coconut Grove and Cortez. That's the area that we were looking at DR Horton. A new developer is now Summit's interested in that area. So we'll be having a discussion if they want to pick up that segment and put roads in there. So that's the only areas that right now we as a district would be entertaining any new roads. Now understand, a resurface is about 90 grand, 100 grand. You do a full-blown road that goes down to the sub-base, you now got a half-mile road for about, close to $1 million. So we don't do too many of that over time. We will, but you're not going to see that except for a major project.
Boz, you mentioned Shell Road.
Shell roads. So that's a good point, sir. Yes. So a lot of what you see in the budget this year, part of our discussion, is about a mile of what we're calling shell rock roads. So in Unit 6, north of Granada, north of where the wastewater plant is, there's a lot of owners that own those parcels, but can't build because we require road access. So our first step is to carve out a shell road, a gravel road. At the same time we're doing that, we're doing the swales, we're running the wastewater line, the water line, it's dry. We'll put those in. Immediately now, all those owners could start building a house, and then years from now, we come back, turn the shell road into asphalt, but at least they can start building, and there it brings us more assessments and more value to the property. And they're going eyes wide open that they're living off a gravel road for a while, but they're asking for that so they can build. So we have that part of our budget next year. You'll see that in that circle down there at Unit 6, which is the center circle, dead center there. You'll see about a mile of that go in next year. A lot of that work is internal with our engineers and our public works guys. So it's going to be minimal cost, I'll say. But it will be designed to the standards of the county and the FDOT standards for a road at the Shell Road.
Speaking
Shell
of
rock.
Shell roads, Schumacher extension. Wasn't
Yes.
the county supposed to be?
So the county
repaving
has
that?
another 2 years to execute that.
Mm-hmm.
Part of their budget discussion this year will be to add more to that fund. And then they have 1 more year to get that complete. Talk to their engineer. They've shown the schematics. They're working their plan for the extension. That'll be a project the county does in-house. It's not going to be bidded out. So it's really, we won't see any construction progress on that till 2027, more than likely.
Okay.
As soon as 2027, probably be going in 2028. That's the resolution. By the summer of 2028, that's supposed to be completed. So.
Okay, thank you.
About how many people on these roads, shell roads you putting in have talked to you? Is there 10, 15 or?
So the ones in Unit 6 and 7, a lot of those are owned by a single builder. So he's like, you get me a shell road, I'm building houses the next day.
Okay.
These are not individuals.
Okay.
There are some individuals asking, they're in that area, but they're further out west, and we won't get them a shell road for a few years.
Okay.
So we're looking at the guys that own 20 or 30 parcels on one road. And part of that is we'll bust in a shell road. Part of the discussion we'll have with the builder is they will turn it into asphalt,
And-
part of their development.
And there's no cost to any of these people for the shell road?
We are not doing it. No, they're paying assessments.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. We're not assessing for more roads, if that's your question. This is engineering speak of what we're doing. Really, for this project, we're only doing the surface course, the black stuff on top. Most of our base and our sub base are pretty good quality if we catch it in time, but over time, we're going to have to address some of those. And this is how we do the categorization. So just so you know, you start seeing stuff in the top left corner there, that's a pretty good road. That's a 9, 10, going into an 8. It starts degrading down to the bottom, and we have a lot of these roads. If you look out west, the alligator cracks, the traversing cracks, that's where you're having some subgrade issues that we need to get ahead of to put some new asphalt down. Otherwise, for us, not frost, but for us, rain seeps in, degrades the sub base, and we have issues.
Any of those pictures are roads?
No, they're not our roads. Sorry. It's a good point. I should get our roads.
If you can find them.
Yeah, I'll find them. Don't worry. So the motion we're asking tonight is based on that initial schematic to approve the 2026 road resurfacing and sealing plan. This will include $350 from the budget that we've approved last year. We're only going to take $200,000 out of our road reserve to give us a $550,000 bucket. The only addition I would add to this motion is that we execute the piggyback off of Sebring as part of this motion. And then that'll be executed. And usually excavation point can get to us in the late June timeframe. And we're fine with that with all the engineering we got to do. So, subject to any questions?
You're not going to put it out for bid?
We're not with a piggyback, sir. We can use Sebring, and we do that for almost all our road resurfacing. That's the standard. If we did it for bid, we could. We won't get bids back.
Any other comment up here? Public comment?
Out of transparency, I'm Craig Herrick, 5123 Pebble Beach Drive. Why are you not doing all of Pebble Beach Drive? You're going all the way down to the final corner, which is Santa Lane, and then leaving a short strip of not redoing that. There's only one construction going on right now, and that's past the heavy equipment portion of it. So why do we have to stop short of taking it all the way to the back end?
As mentioned, sir, there's a segment of Pebble, it may not be the north side, closer to the bottom, that we will not do based on construction, not the north side. So from the circle, the dead end, it doesn't show on that map, sir. Like I said, there's about a half mile of roads that aren't on there because the engineer's still laying out with the contractor. So the north side of Pebble, halfway, and then from coming in Sunlight Boulevard around the corner up Pebble, we will do. There's a center segment that won't be done because there's still construction going on there.
That's not what that shows. That's
Yes,
why
sir.
I'm
Yes, sir.
questioning.
Yep.
Thank you.
We will publish the final product once the engineer lays out. It's within the budget. Just I'd say they're missing about a half mile of yellow on here.
Okay. Any other public comment?
Does this include any of the work that was brought up at the last meeting about off of Ponce de Leon where the drainage and everything is so bad? Does this include any of those people that live on that street?
South of the circle.
Correct.
That is not resurfacing, ma'am. That's going to be concrete work on the sides.
Okay.
That's a separate project. Yeah.
But the road will have to be included in that.
If I know the area you're talking about.
All right,
it's
if you're
different.
going from here to 27, you
Yes, ma'am.
get to the 20, you get to the circle.
Yep.
And you take a right.
Yes.
Okay,
That's-
because the road is awful back there.
There are portions of what I call, that's the older Sun Lake from
Yes.
Catalina there. There is a portion in there we will do. I can't say it's that area, but
Wow.
that will be addressed. Man, we got to say, and this is a 20-year plan and we try to do 3 miles every year.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but the old Sun and Lakes has been left out. I know my
Yes, ma'am.
son lives over there, so
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
always going to ask.
I
And
keep
it's
asking, Ms. Rhonda,
horrible
keep asking.
getting, I will.
Motion. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the 2026 road resurfacing and sealing plan and budgeted funding. This will include the $350K from the capital budget as well as $200K from the roads reserve for a balance of $700K to be piggybacked with Sebring, the city of Sebring.
I second the motion.
Supervisor Gilpin,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Carmona,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
President Northen.
Yes. Thank you much. We did have 2 add-ons for your information purposes. One is that RFP. This is included in our new pool complex back here, just for the gym yoga building. We only received 1 bid. It's in your packet there. So I can't tell you if it's the lowest bid. There's only 1 bid. We are working with the contractor right now because some of that work, combination of public works and the pool contractor completed. So I'm extracting that from the bid. So if we approve the bid, there's still a negotiation on the contract. If you want to table a bid, then I just got 30 days to work on that and bring that back to you, but it's still just one bid. That's all I can offer you on that one.
What's the scope of work as far as what?
It's just basically a shell building with a roof, foundation, and the rest of the work is in-house with Public Works.
Do we have the design already prepared
Yes,
for
sir.
that?
Yeah, design's already done.
Have we done a cost analysis on what?
Yes. For total
Yes.
completion, yes, sir.
No, not for total, for that specific portion that this builder is presenting to us.
Yes, the cost that we calculated was in the $200,000 range for a shell
Okay.
with electrical and everything.
And he's willing to do it for
He's doing it for
110?
166 because like I say, we took some stuff away from the bid
Okay.
that we're doing. We have to do because of the pool.
And they provide all the materials?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the recommendation is, you see the ranking, you can only rank it against itself. They met all the criteria, bonding and everything. Recommendation would be to just approve the bid to go into contract final negotiation.
We would approve that.
That's all I would be asking because I'll come back to you with the contract next month once we iron out the timeline, the payment plan, all that type of stuff. But that's never part of the bid. That's worked out after you select a bidder.
Does that include the dry-in, the roofing? Or
The roofing, the dry-in, the windows, all in there.
Okay.
But the interior walls is Public
Would be
Works.
us?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Got it.
And then, well, if you want to handle that one, the second one is just a resolution, a ceremonial one. This is more of the contract we did with the individuals, the engineers from Thailand and Cambodia. The Don Quao, Thailand is wanting to become a sister city with Sun and Lake. And they're offering that, and in reciprocation, we would be a resolution that no money tied to this. It's more just an agreement that if the chance arises, the State Department provides funding, there may be an opportunity to work with them on their wastewater issues and them help us with other issues.
Okay.
For your discussion.
So how is this ceremonial proclamation different than what we talked about earlier today that we didn't go down the path?
Well, this is not citing it, and that's a great point. This is not citing an event or this is a sister city proclamation that we would
You're not
do.
bothered with that?
Yeah, we would do this if
Not
we wanted to
bothered
make a
with the
sister city
distance?
with an interlocal agreement, intergovernmental agreement. That's kind of what the language is.
So we need to be a city to be a sister city?
They do have districts, sister city, town, village district.
Sister district.
So what are we doing
All in
first?
favor? Any discussion?
Do we have any discussion on either one of those two from the board?
Personally, I feel that it's a good idea that we get involved as far as the sister city. And as far as the gym yoga building, if this contractor can do all of what Boz had indicated, I think that's a pretty good deal for us.
I do too.
Where's my rubber stamp?
Rubber stamp.
Yeah.
Well, we get to look at the final contract too before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
The rest of the board approve of it? So Boz can go ahead and move on with it?
Do you need motion for both of those?
Just need a motion to approve RFPs. They're like I say, approve the bidder, and then we move into contract negotiations and take it from there.
Should we take public comment on those?
It's up to you.
Yes, sir. You can.
Any public comment on the yoga and gym building RFP? Someone want to make a motion?
Go ahead, Boz.
I move that we approve the RFP number 26-02 for the gym and yoga building.
John doesn't want to say, I'll second it.
Okay, Supervisor Gilpin,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Carmona,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
and President Norton.
Yes.
Are we done with that one?
How
Yes,
about
we've
the
done that
sister
one.
city?
And
Yeah, the second one, the resolution.
I move that we approve the resolution for the Sister City proclamation, which is ceremonial with Don Q. Thailand.
So that's the name of the city, Dongku.
Don Q. Yes, sir.
Don
Thailand.
Q.
Yeah, right there's your map. It's way up north.
Now, if we were to visit them, they'd know who we were
They
then?
would kind
We'd
of,
be
trust me,
dignitaries?
yeah, they will know who you are. And for reference, there is a comparable state of Florida program that we would now be enrolled in. So there is potential for funding, for partnership visits back and forth, for a lot of opportunities. So.
Okay, good.
I don't know.
Motion was presented. I second the motion.
Supervisor Phillips,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
No.
Supervisor Karamana,
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin,
Yes.
and President Northen.
Yes.
Thank you much. You had one communication over the past 30 days. The letter of the trash came back with a denial from the county. So on behalf of our residents, we tried to work that out. County said no. So part of the next 3-year county contract will be up to the county to determine the rates for our residents. We're going to take no further action from the district unless you guys direct us to take that.
Not unless we decide to become a city of our own, right?
Sure. Yes, sir. Yeah. So that's all on that one. Yeah.
Should I ask for public comments on that topic?
If you want to, sir.
Any,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Any public comment on the response from the county on the trash service that we tried to do a termination with the county?
Ray Brooks, on the trash thing, what I don't understand is, according to that letter that the county sent back to us, we had no chance. And yet we wasted an awful lot of time discussing this, especially bringing in that company a couple of times, probably misleading them. I just don't understand why we got to that point. So I would think next time we should do our due diligence and not get into a situation like that I consider very embarrassing. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Moving on to staff reports.
Legal.
Good afternoon, good evening. Just on the board, there are a few things that are still in progress. The Clearway Fiber MOU, we're still waiting to get back to them. The Magnolia Villas deed transfer, where we're taking over the road, I was able to speak with their attorney and they were going to get me a survey so we could get the deed finally recorded and the transfer completed. And we're working on the business registry. Before I get to the legal costs for the litigation, I just wanted to talk to you all about the election procedure. I was drafting a resolution calling for an election for the general election in November because one seat is up. And I noticed something unusual about your code. And before I raised this with the county attorney, I wanted to raise it with you. A few years ago, I guess it was 2 years ago, the county had done some amendments to the district's charter regarding elections. And as you know, 3 members are elected by qualified electors, 2 are elected by landowners. But the way the county ordinance was drafted, they narrowly described what a qualified elector is. Under state law, a qualified elector is somebody who's over the age of 18, Florida resident, citizen of the U.S., not determined to be mentally incompetent, doesn't have a felony, no felony convictions. So in addition to that, the charter has some holdover language from years ago when there was a one acre, one vote. And in order to be a qualified elector, to vote for those 3 seats that are qualified elector, you have to be a landowner. So I don't know how it's been run in the past because state law does, I was questioning how the supervisor of elections would know that if you show up to vote, how would they know that you're a landowner registered to vote? Well, Florida law does have a special provision for these elections, which are only open to freeholders, which is old language for landowners. And it requires the resident, the elector, the qualified elector, to file an affidavit with the supervisor of elections stating that, affirming that they are a landowner. I thought that was unusual. I wasn't sure whether that was in the direction of this board. Boz said he didn't think so. I thought it was just something that came out. And I know Supervisor Gilpin mentioned that, he had a challenge. You had a challenge with somebody this means that an adult child or a renter cannot vote for the seat that's represented by a qualified elector. Now, there is some logic to it. I mean, if you're a landowner, you have sort of skin in the game because you pay the assessment. A renter and an adult child doesn't do that. But I wasn't sure. Usually when I see boards that have 3 seats for qualified elector and 2 landowners, the qualified elector is anybody who meets those requirements, whether they're a landowner or not, can vote. This is unusual. So I just wanted to make sure before I reached out to the county attorney, was that this board's intention that those seats that are elected by a qualified elector, did what's the board's response to making sure that those members are landowners as well? So I know that the reason or the goal was to allow the Canadians and the out-of-state snowbirds to be able to vote in the landowner election, but I wasn't sure what the direction was with the qualified electors. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
It sounds to me like the pool available to vote for the 3 non-landowner seats is smaller than the pool for landowner seats.
I mean, the only difference is for the landowner, you actually have to be here, but for the qualified elector, you have to go to a polling space. So, yeah. So it reduces the scope. You're absolutely right. So let me ask your experience with the supervisor of election. If you voted, did they ask you?
Yes, they did.
If you were a landowner?
Yes, they did.
And how did you prove that?
They had a book there, and our name was there, and we showed them our driver's license with our address on it.
And they said, oh, yes, that makes you a landowner? Was there something in the...
I don't know. They said, okay, you can vote, but I had to show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you file an...
They asked me if I own the house.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you didn't file any advance
No.
registration
No.
as required under the law? Okay, so they just asked you.
Yeah, they did ask.
Normally at our elections, we have the voters, people here. This last election, they weren't here.
But that's the landowner's election. I'm talking about the general election in November when you go to your polling
But
place.
the last landowners election, the voters, people were here too.
Okay.
They weren't here for this past one.
So for the general election last November, it was here, right?
Correct.
Right. And you voted for, state rep,
Mhm.
president. And so it was still a supervisor of elections. Is it the goal of this board to require those seats elected by the qualified electors to be landowners as well?
Not by this board member.
Okay. I just think the way it was drafted, it may have been an oversight.
I think so.
I think this was set up by the county. I don't think it was us that set it up. I think
Yeah.
it's the county's setup. I think
Right.
we should defer to them to see what they,
And before I reached out to the county, I just wanted to make sure, like, it looked like the way it was drafted, there was like, it just seemed unusual to me. So I don't know what the county's logic was, if it at all. I don't know whether it was inadvertent or whether it was intentional by the county. But before I reached out to the county, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't your direction.
Mm-mm.
And I think your point is well taken. That means the people who can vote for the qualified elector by popular vote, the pool is smaller.
Yeah, I don't think that's the board's intention.
Yeah.
No.
Don't let him do that.
Landowner, Craig Herrick. The landowners, pay assessments. And that controls who elects you. The renters have no renters or adult, I guess, people, I'm not sure.
Adult children, or yeah.
The whole idea is to control, control. We pay the assessments, and so we are the ones financing the district. And therefore, we should be the ones controlling the funds, if you will, the landowners. To allow the renters or anybody else to start doing that could skew where the money is being spent significantly. Because you have to be a resident and a landowner to become a board member. The renters they can't become one. An adult child can't become one. So I think it's best to leave it as it is and we're the ones that control the finances that way.
I hear what you're saying, Craig. I don't think, it seems to me then, we might as well have all these seats be landowners, so there's at least a bigger pool of landowners that can vote. We're eliminating the Canadians for the 3 open seats.
That's because the public seat is determined through the general election, and therefore you have to be a Florida resident in order to vote in the general election.
But the bottom line is the pool of voters is smaller for the 3 seats than it is for the landowners.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
But
I hear what you're saying. I just disagree. So
somehow we have to control.
I have to agree with Mr. Herrick.
Control the
believe
finances.
that his assumptions are correct. It should be the landowners that are able to vote, not the renters.
Using that logic, it'd be the same logic for voting for the county commissioner. Because the landowners pay all the fees of the county, not the renters. It's the same logic to me, so I don't understand why we would be different.
We just need a direction to go to chat with the county attorney or the supervisor of elections.
Is there a chance that the county is going to say no? Just because?
Oh, I've had conversations with the county attorney, and yes, there is a good chance that they will say no. But I just wanted to make sure that, it struck me as unusual.
I think we should speak to the county and the elections people. I think we should get input from both of them.
And then let us know.
Yeah, and I'd like to know how the supervisor of election is qualifying the freeholders. I mean, under state law, you guys are the landowners, under state law, to vote in a general election that is only open to quote unquote freeholders, there is a requirement to file an affidavit essentially stating with the supervisor of elections. So I just need to know, is the supervisor of elections doing this? It's about election integrity, I guess. If that's the case, that it is freeholders, we just want to make sure that there is a system in place where the supervisor of elections can confirm and verify that it is landowners and their spouse.
So we'll bring it back to you. We have a meeting next Tuesday with supervisor of elections. Janice will chat with
Okay.
the county attorney.
And bring it back.
And then in May, we'll bring it back where they both stand on the issue.
Can we talk about that at the budget meeting?
The 21st?
Yeah.
We might be able to.
I mean, if you
Have an
hear
answer by
from
then.
it, you can bring it up then.
I can
Oh, no,
put-
you won't be here.
I'll put it on the,
Okay. Well,
let's do it May.
yeah, Janice won't be here.
Yeah, and candidly, I don't think you're going to be able to make it before the November election because I think the qualifying period is June. I just don't think the county's going to be able to adopt an ordinance fast before the election, but hope springs eternal.
Okay.
All right. Oh, and so now I wanted to update you all on the lawsuit. Yesterday, Richard Green attended a motion to dismiss the property appraiser. Just as you recall, the property appraiser filed a motion to dismiss on the grounds that the district hadn't followed the correct procedure in order to contest the property appraiser's ruling. We filed a response challenging that. We had 3 separate arguments why we were following the correct procedure. Essentially, the district's argument is the property appraiser made an error and the tax roll, this is to correct an error in the tax roll, right? So property owned by the district is presumed to be exempt from taxation. Therefore, he didn't have the legal standing to be able to put it on the tax roll in the first place. That was our argument. We had challenges to some of the case law that they relied on. The judge heard both sides and asked both parties for proposed orders and gave 2 weeks to file the order. So there was enough meat on that bone for her to analyze it. But, you're still up in the air. We'll have to see. So we'll keep you apprised of
So
that.
we'll know in 2
Baby
weeks,
steps.
is that what you're saying?
We'll file the order with her within 2 weeks, and then she'll deliberate and issue a ruling.
We may know some by May, but it's up to the judge.
And then I've also included the cost to date for the litigation as requested by Commissioner Supervisor Gilpin.
Yeah, yeah, it was 50,000, wasn't it? And I'm sure yesterday cost us a lot.
I
Okay.
will check with, Richard.
Yeah, okay.
Does not include yesterday. to your
Yeah.
No,
point.
I knew
this is
that.
it, yeah. So I
Can I
will.
take it out of your $300?
Probably, yeah.
All right, and that's
That's
the
it.
conclusion of my legal report.
All right, we'll go through a lot of data in there. We have an RFP for the golf carts. We put that out, only one bid. I'll discuss that separately. In your packets, and we'll post online after you guys at least looked at it, will be the initial draft budget guidance from the general manager to the departments. So this kind of lays out some directives to the departments, start shaping their budgets. What we will feed that with is on April 21st, as a board, any special emphasis or areas you all want to see in the budget. But it's more of a strategic discussion. But it's basically laying out the level of funding by department, major capital projects, and so on. So you'll see that. There's some efforts where now we're doing more homework in the discussion to become a independent, I call district, but city, town, or village. So there's some discussions there that our legal team is putting together. Probably going to energize that discussion in the midsummer timeframe, because we're at a point that's going to take legislative action rather than us doing a vote or anything. So we're following the footsteps of the past 2 years. Separate districts, Corkscrew, Grove, and a few others are separating themselves to run themselves totally. And that's the effort we'll apply and bring you some information on that. We talked about the gym and yoga. Sorry, that's a misprint in there. Advent Hospital. So you see some work happening down the street, Sun Lake, a lot of the area fenced off. That's their project. All permits have been approved. All execution's been approved with the contractor. We'll follow that project. That's tied to a separate. So that's Advent adding it. And for clarity, they're building an entire third floor to add rooms, but then you will see a shell of a fourth floor that they can expand later. So you're going to see that building go up 4 stories. So that's an Advent project. We're not really involved in that. What you see on the screen there is our previous discussions with the Advent team. The 2 red boxes that are to the closer to 27, that's land owned by Advent. That's the area that they're thinking about putting workforce housing for their staff, their teaching staff that comes in, rotates. They will be paying assessments, paying utility hookups and all that stuff. And the development will be totally on Advent's dime with the roads and infrastructure. So we're working with them on that. Not a lot of designs so far, but we're having some discussions with them. The area in yellow is because of the size of those locations, they are asking for across the street, that is Sun and Lake owned property, our wastewater area, that we will decommission in the near future. That's a 6-acre plot. They're asking for a discussion of, can they put their amenities there when it comes to the community center and stuff for their complex? So getting some more data on that. We're talking basically a long-term lease from Sun and Lake. They're going to do all the infrastructure. They're going to build everything. They'll pay assessments, but they'll be paying us for a long period of time. So once we get that draft, I'll bring that to you. They'll do a presentation, and we'll see your efforts to move that along for them. Both projects they want to do simultaneously. They want to be building that while at the same time building their workforce housing. And then obviously while they're building the hospital all at the same time. So a lot of stuff Advent Health is taking on. Let's go scan real quickly on the golf cart. So we did an RFP for our golf cart fleet. Our fleet now is 5 years old. The battery life is 5 years. So as soon as this year rolls around, we go into a phase of the value of our current fleet drops exponentially. So we need to make a decision to replace the fleet in the near future. We bidded it. We put it all on our contacts. We reached out to the usual suspects. EasyGo was the only one to respond. Yeah,
How much time did you give them?
they had 45 days. Yeah. So they responded. The other companies responded by saying they're not going to bid because there were some qualifiers in our ask, warranty term, battery life term, replacement parts term, that they weren't willing to meet our requirements. EasyGo is the only one that said we can meet all your requirements and still bid.
Do we currently own the golf carts?
We
that
own
have?
yes, we own them all. And that's the scenario. So in your packet, you're going to see many options, from leasing to full purchase to leasing with a $1 buyout. We're right now going through that. And that's why the recommendation here is accept the bid, but we owe you what's the level of payment that we're willing to do based on your guidance with EasyGo, because there's probably an option. At the end of the day, we want to own whatever we do because we're in a better position when we own the fleet for next time, 5 years from now. So a lot of those options where it's just lease and at the end turn the cars back in, we don't want.
Right.
So we're going to recommend to you, once we lay out all those 8 options of what we're recommending, to go with EasyGo for the final approval.
So you're saying that EasyGo is willing to give us a trade-in value of $496,000? Is that what I'm reading there?
250,000 for the fleet, current fleet. 250,000 for the current fleet.
250.
We think we're able to get a third party to buy our fleet at a higher rate.
Oh, okay.
So if we take that option, then we can look at an that's why I say there's a lot of factors with EasyGo. We can take the lease with $1 buyout at the end of the lease. That's what we did with our current fleet. We bought them all for $1 3 years into it, right, Mike? I think. So 3 years into the current lease, which was 2 years ago, we bought the entire fleet for $100. Now we own them all. Now we're in a good position where we can make $250,000 by selling this fleet. We want to be in that same position this next time with this fleet. So the same quality cars, same long-term lithium batteries. They meet all the criteria we need. There's no bells and whistles on these carts. They're a good quality that'll last us 5-6 years. But I think we're going to lean towards the option of the $500,000 lease with us selling our own fleet to a third party, but with $1 buyout. So at the end of this lease, we're going to make some money from selling them, the current fleet. We'll do the lease, and at the end, for $100, we buy the fleet, and then we can go into this 2 years or 3 years from now, 5 years from now, in a better position. So all we're asking here is, we only got one bid, approve EasyGo, and then we sit down, we do just like with we do the contract. The only thing we're picking with EasyGo is the method of payment, the term of payment. We'll bring that back to you guys, say we think financially this is the best option. And by then we will know how much we can sell our current fleet for above the $250,000.
So you reached out to Club Car, Yamaha, as
Yes,
far as the
they came back
distributors?
with we can't answer your requirements for the bid.
Okay.
It was more on term of lease or term of warranty, I think, from Yamaha or whatever came. Yamaha didn't come back saying we're not going to touch this.
Yeah, Yamaha, basically the bid bond was a hangup for them, but also the terms of replacement carts. If carts broke down, they were under warranty, they were not comfortable with the terms of bringing us replacement carts.
And that was asking for a 2-day turnaround. They wanted like a week. We can't operate that way. Even though that we have a pretty good fleet now, and we'll have a good fleet in the future. It's a good quality cart. It's just we needed that assurance that they would quickly fix our stuff.
So the lease would be $500,000.
I think that's the one we're leaning to, the 551.
Okay.
Financially, this budget year, we put $250,000 in the bank. On 1 October, we're going to put another $250,000. So financially, we will have $500,000 for just this operation on 1 October, and the first payment will be due in November. So it'll work out that it's, and that's not even count what we sell the fleet for. So we'll be in a good financial position that we could take the lease and only pay $100,000 a year for a couple of years, and we'll be done with it. So, yeah.
And they'll allow the buyout like we did, right?
We want to do the $1 buyout, yes, sir. Yeah, that puts us in the best situation 5 years from now. Yeah.
So what kind of third party would buy these things?
I mean, we have this offer for $250,000, but We're checking in some third parties that are local that just buy the fleet, and not a lot of them, but there are some that sell it used, mainly because we have lithium batteries. It's still a very valuable fleet. We thought about offering them for sale within Sun Lake. That's just a lot of legwork for our staff to be selling individual cars for $3,000 or $4,000. We
Would
could
we
do it.
sell to the buyer before we made the deal?
We could. And
I
then
mean,
tie
I
it
hate
to
to
the
get
deal.
stuck with a bunch of carts or not.
Well, we'll time it where they can't
Yeah.
extract from
Right.
until we receive the new ones.
Okay.
We had discussed at one time, you and I, about keeping some of those for rent for
Yep.
snowbirds.
And it's an option when we sell. We can keep a good portion of them. They're in good condition. The batteries will expire, but that's an investment we would have. But right now, we annually rent about 10, 15 carts extra a year. 16 we rent every year just for big operations. So I think there's an opportunity we keep a small amount for leasing options or for renting options that we control. Yeah.
We have to be careful because we'd have to increase the size of our cart barn if we had to maintain.
And we're working on that, yes, sir.
Well, I'm saying like a monthly visitor might come and for their house. just
Yeah,
drive
no, I
around.
understand that. I think it's a
Yep.
good idea.
So the recommendation here is if just getting us to the next step, approving the RFQ so we can lock down a bid price, bring that to you in May. We have plenty of time to react. They will not be received until October, so we have time, but we need to just lock in. Worst case scenario is that 840 number. That's not what we're going to pay. That's if we did a lease with no buyout, 5 years, full terms, and we will not do that. But I wanted to give you the worst case scenarios.
The one question I had, is there anything about our requirements that we could relax in an effort to get multiple bids and see if there's a significant discount relative to what we got?
The biggest hang up was the replacement time. We want 48 hours. Yeah.
I think ideally we need to get rid of them in the summer when we have lesser golfers here.
Go ahead, sorry.
Comment?
Brian, if you want to mention anything on this, I'm sorry. Now, this was tied to our partnership with Troon. So this bid offer, the amount was because we have Troon as our management company. Let's be honest with you.
And is that the only option through Troon is Easy Go?
No, we have national deals with all three providers, all three major providers, Yamaha and Club Car. Obviously, I do about 4 or 5 of these a year. Easy Go has been winning 80% of them, unless we're looking for a lead acid battery. Yamaha has issues right now with tariffs. Obviously, I brought in Tom Marbo, who's the third-party wholesaler, because I've been able to pick up $400 to $500 on cars. There's no promise. I mean, it's a fluctuating market. I mean, walks in and hands you a check and loads them on a truck and takes them away. It's very simple. I mean, he'll have the money in the bank before he ever picks them up. So, I mean, obviously, we have a great relationship with EasyGo. Our national pricing gets you about 10% off. And that list price of that car is about $8,800. So you can quickly do the math. It's about $88,000 in savings. More than happy, like I said, we could go out for another RFP and I could ask other people to bid, but there was certain things here that needed to be met, like replacements. Because having 100 cars at 36 holes is not a big fleet. I mean, obviously, most of the members have their own, but on days that you do not have that or outings, it does put us in a bad situation if any cart's down.
So this RFP was issued by Troon or was it issued?
No,
by-
we issued.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. With the nomenclature that Brian had just indicated, the terms in that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
And they helped us put it to the right markets for bidders. Yeah.
Okay.
You have something?
Pam?
I would ask for you to consider asking EasyGo what their price would be without Troon's involvement.
You said 10%.
Pardon?
10%.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I want to hear it from EasyGo. So if you could do that with your quote.
Yeah, that we did get the response from Easy Go, so we have the answer. I'll get it to you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I don't have it right now. That's all I have on that one. If you guys are good with that, just to get us to the next level of discussion with Easy Go. So
We have a motion?
I make a motion. You want a second? You want to read the motion? Motion to accept RFP 26-4 from EasyGo.
Golf carts and enter into the contract discussions not exceeding an amount of 840,000 from CIP and equipment reserves.
I second.
Supervisor Gilpin,
Conjunction.
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Caramana,
Yes.
Supervisor Phillips.
Yes.
And President Norton.
Yes.
okay, and trying to see if anything else on here. Meeting schedule, we're still tracking all, no changes. We still got our evening meetings like this. The next hard time is April 21st, strategic planning and budget guidance here at 9 a.m. So there won't be it'll be more of a workshop. It's not decision-making, but we need guidance from board members of where we want the budget to go, and as well as from citizen feedback. Next holiday is May 25th. You have in your packet the Troon update on Troon data for what they provided for the past month. This is the month of March. And then what we did as internal with our team. It was asked some basic numbers of Troon's benefit to us and vice if they were not here. Very cursory numbers when we talk to HR and finance. There's some work that we would have to do in our HR department as well as payroll and finance costs with accounts clerk and accountant that we would need. The biggest hurdle, I'll say, is because they would bring over 31 full-time employees that are contract workers at a different rate of benefits and not really pay, but benefits. We would bring them into the fold of district benefits. That is an increase. So the bottom line, and there's some specific savings. We just saw one with the golf cart discount. So by extracting Troon from the equation, it's about $500,000 a year that we would pay based into our budgeting. And what we pay them right now is $120,000 a year. So the cost, the delta is we would be increasing our golf operations budget by $380,000 without the Troon management company. That is very one over the world type numbers. It's really, there's a software issue with the HR. It's not staff. It's our paychecks program because Troon manages the 100 employees over there. It pays by individuals, so we would have to increase that by double. So that's the $50,000 software. Finance, we don't do the accounting for Troon or the golf course right now. They provide us data every month for your books. So that would have to go in-house. The software we would have to, migrate to that. But it'd be a staffing issue there with the accounts clerk, as well as we would have to definitely lock down an accountant for the district, which was a plan. We were working towards that. It's really the golf specific equipment, which for clarification, there are some things we can go on the government websites and get the government discount on. Heavy equipment, cars and stuff. There are some things that are golf specific that are not available on the government websites that you have to use a sole source vendor like a golf marketing company like Troon to help you acquire. They won't give us discounts as a government to buy X, Y, and Z. So that would be a challenge we would work through. We could find some fixes for pesticides and some of the equipment, the mowers and stuff. But if it's really golf specific, we'd be challenged that we would have to pay full bore with that without the Troon umbrella. So I'll leave it to you all on that discussion. So.
Sounds to me like if we're headed that direction, we're certainly not ready.
You're headed towards what?
Not
Troon
letting
departure.
Troon go.
No. Okay.
I don't think we're ready either. I mean, those numbers are.
We take on their payroll, we have to add 31 people to our staff?
No, there's already 31 people, full-timers at the golf course.
Oh.
They would migrate to district employees, and there's a difference in pay and benefits in that scenario.
Okay, but
We already pay for them now, but we pay them
Yeah.
at the contractor level through Troon. Biggest changes are with retirement programs and some medical coverages. They would have to take advantage of the district resources there, and there is a difference.
okay,
Cost
but we have the employees.
We have the
already.
employees. We're not adding
So
any
you're just
employees.
saying it costs 250,000 more to give them our benefits
Yes, sir.
versus
We-
Troon's benefits?
They would have to be treated equally with our district employees. Yes, sir. Yep.
Can I ask one other question about the golf course, if I may? Turtle. The overseed's starting to die slowly, it's starting to die. So last year, we lost all the greens. I was just wondering what the plan is for this year. Do we have a plan? Or are we just going to let it go? See, my biggest problem with Troon is I'm tired of dealing with this crap of having the greens not be very good. If they could keep the greens up, I think everybody would say Troon's a great company. But they can't. So again, let me ask the question. What's the plans for Turtle this summer? Come on, guys, you got to have a plan, don't you? You're the board. Anybody got a plan?
So we have a cultural plan that our agronomist, Jimmy, and his team execute. We brief it. We'll be briefing it next Tuesday at the golf committee meeting that we have host. After that, we usually put a blast out to all members of the plan.
Is it a secret plan or
It's
can
not a
I
secret
hear
plan,
it?
sir. No, it's overseeded now. The overseed dies, the Bermuda comes in, and it is what
It
it
didn't
is.
come in last year. That's the problem.
Yes, sir.
So do we have guarantees that it's coming in this year or are we just saying, I hope so? See, I mean, you guys got to get it through your heads. They're probably a great company, but if they can't deliver, why keep going with them? I just don't understand it. Sorry.
It's only a question. I'm not gonna drill anybody. My question is the other day on
Sorry.
Facebook,
Can you identify yourself?
oh, I'm Randy Bauer.
Yeah,
You know,
thank
you know me.
I do, but people on TV
Okay.
don't know who you are.
Yeah, I live over on Savannah. The other day I'm watching Facebook and I see our superintendent. He's now the superintendent of roads and yeah,
Public Works, yes.
Public Works.
Yeah.
So does that mean we're getting somebody else? Or does that mean we're sharing them? Or does that mean that he now, because he's done such a wonderful job on the 36 holes, we're going to use him over here too? Troon's going to allow that? You guys are allowing that? 36 holes of golf is a major taking. It's a major amount of work for a guy we never saw in the first place. Just being honest. We've had problems for 4 years, guys,
We had
with the
problems
same
long before
management
that.
problem. Yes, we have had
Long before
problems
that.
for 4 years. We have. You can ignore it all you want.
No, I'm not ignoring it. I'm saying we had problems before that also.
So we wait longer? I'm just saying, we can't take a superintendent away from our golf course that's not taking care of it in the first place because we need them over here for drainage. Why don't we hire somebody else for drainage? Why don't we hire somebody else for the golf course? You know, if everything's perfect and everything's wonderful, I wouldn't care if I ever saw those guys. And they could go do whatever they want. But it's not. We have no answers on that or?
Well, I can tell you, we have, as a board, had nothing to do with Mr. Murphy working for the district. And we don't. That's Boz's call.
So you guys have no say over that whatsoever. Okay, shame on you, boss.
I personally would like to see a full-time superintendent and a full-time public works director, to be honest with you.
We are working towards that. We're in the process right now to get an agronomist established to make Mr. Murphy a senior agronomist, but full-time public works director. There's a process, there's interviews. We're working towards that, to your point, sir.
Thank you.
So what are we discussing today? Just,
So it's just on this topic. Are you guys, I just need to know guidance of where you wanted me to go.
So
Yes, to Ms. Beverly's point, and your point, sir, right now, we are not ready to assume full responsibility. Understand the contract with Troon is a 6-month extraction. So if you told them today, we would still see them for 6 more months. And at any time we pull the trigger, it's 6 months beyond that. And we would have to live up to our part. They would have to live up to their part.
Well, I don't think we're ready to pull the trigger yet.
so when I comment, we're not ready today, what I mean is we're not ready 6 months from now.
Exactly.
No, until I get the payroll, not the payrolls part,
HR.
the finance part set. That's the
I
biggest
agree.
hangup. We are never going to cross the hurdle of the cost savings for golf equipment. We just got to accept that.
Yeah.
But the finance costs, that's the biggest thing. And since we're working towards that, we've built that department from 1 to 3 people. We need these last 2 critical pieces. If I'm going to add 103 more employees, that's as well as their books. We don't do their books right now. We'd be adding all that. That's the challenge. Another challenge that we're just going to have to accept is because of the requirements to treat them equal with our district staff, they're 31 full-timers, there'd be an expectation that we would keep them on par. And that is a cost of doing business as well. It's not giving them pay raises, not doing anything. It's basically increasing the benefits that our district staff gets.
So what's the total number that we're looking at right now? Because there's a lot of numbers on there that we have to take into consideration, but over and above what we're paying Troon, how much more?
It's 380.
380,000.
Yes, sir. 380 is, if we severed the Troon ties every year, we would budget 380 more into our golf budget without a Troon management company.
And what do we get for that? I mean, my question is, if Troon leaves 6 months and a day from now.
Well, he's not here anymore. You get me in the seat in charge of 8 departments that includes golf and the courses. You got him in the seat in charge of golf, and you got an agronomist that are sitting here right now. That's your changes.
So for $380,000 more, we have,
Got
other than
nothing.
the money, take the money out of it, there's no difference in operations.
Oh, I think,
Can,
yes,
my recommendation is, why don't you guys ask Troon what they think? Why don't you ask Troon what the problem is? And is it going to be fixed? Before you make a decision to throw them out or to keep them, why don't you hear what they got to say, if they have anything to say? Hopefully they have something to say.
I'm in agreement with you, Ray. I don't think that's where we're going with it right now, but I think you're absolutely right.
I mean, I think we would all
I'd
like to hear
what
what
Brian
I mean,
has to say.
anybody who's heard this would like to hear what Troon has to say. Can it be fixed? Can it not be fixed? Throw your hands up. Who gives a damn, et cetera, et cetera. That would be my recommendation,
But
to ask them
when I'm
and ask
talking
them
to
in
Mike-
public.
When I'm talking to Mike, Lemire, or Jimmy, aren't I not talking to Troon?
I don't know. I haven't heard Troon say shit yet.
Are
Excuse
they
me.
not Troon employees, I guess is what I'm asking.
Sorry. I apologize for that.
But when I talk to Jimmy, who's he work for? Troon. So when I'm talking to
If
Jimmy.
you
I'm
don't
talking-
go to Troon and ask, if you don't ask these guys what they think, you're making a serious mistake. Okay? That's it.
Yeah.
Brian, are you and Jimmy on the same page right now? Can I ask you to speak up?
I mean, obviously, I'm an operations guy. I know a little bit about agronomy. Our agronomist was here 2 weeks ago, Mike. Is that right? We met with Boz. We went over the plan. He rode with Jimmy. I can have him come to the next meeting, or certainly ask him to. He did provide a 1-pager of his visit to Boz summarizing where we were and where we're going. Obviously, there's some other things that came out of that. I know we had a discussion about the USDA ball for rolling data and some other things so we can really tie into the data. I can't say we're happy with the golf course because we're not, right? I'm not going to sit up here and lie. We're not happy with the golf course and the product. I will say that it's not because of lack of effort. It's not because of lack of knowledge. We've been dealt some bad cards and had, certainly some tough things to do. Don't want to sit here and do this every month, right? But I mean, right now, our communication, besides being on site with the team, is with Mr. Bosworth. Now, if we want that to expand to the board, we certainly can. I know I've met with board one-on-ones in past. I've done phone calls, certainly. We brought agronomists in here. There is a plan. Everybody at the upper, Mike was in Phoenix in November. Every one of our top CEOs knew him and Sun and Lake. So they're very aware of what is happening here. Now, can I say that, obviously we went through and rode the golf course today. They were opened up. They were top dressed. The color is great. There were some areas that I think, I had a conversation with Mike about that we need to do a little something more aggressive as far as the deer greens. As far as deer goes, I think there's areas that need to be sod, right? The fact that we're in a rough area, we couldn't cut sod for a long time. We can now. We certainly can get sod, so it's an option. We've been using sod that's been on site. We can certainly order sod now. Now, turtle, obviously, anytime we overseed, coming in out of a transition is really weather dependent in a lot of cases, and it depends on what was underneath it before we went to overseed. And I can tell you, to get any of our agronomists to agree to overseed, they hate it just because they don't know how it's going to transition out. Last year, we were very aggressive in trying to transition it out. Part of it had to do with February was very warm, March was warm. We used chemical transitions to get rid of the POA, and it really, the Bermuda wasn't ready to go. Obviously, there were some cultural issues in there. We know that water was a problem. We had some soil issues in there that we certainly spent a lot of time and effort fixing. I think we have our hands around it, but I can't guarantee it, right? But we're taking the steps. We have a plan. We're evaluating the plan. I'm getting my eyes on it pretty much every 2 weeks, and I'm passing it on. And certainly our agronomist that oversees Sun and Lake was one of my former superintendents, and I have a great relationship with him. So if I call him up, he can usually get down here within that week.
How soon can we get new sod put down on some of the real bad areas?
I need to touch base with him, but as far as ordering it, obviously it depends on the weather. If they got 4 inches of rain at the sod farm, they're not going to cut this week, but evidently they could. Well, there's only 2 sod farms for the green turf. So one's out of Georgia, one's in Palm Beach area. So it really depends on the weather that they're having and whether we can get it.
Would you consider shutting the course down for a couple of weeks to remedy some of the issues?
Would that remedy some of the issues?
Obviously, shutting it down certainly helps,
Of course.
right? Anytime you take foot traffic off it and play traffic,
Right.
it certainly would help. I mean, obviously, our goal is because we're concerned that turtle's not going to transition out correctly. We were here in October saying we're concerned about putting POA out there, and we were basically told with the seasonal and everything else, it'll guarantee a good product, and it will during season. But when we transition out, especially April and May, we don't know what we have. My eyesight, I can walk on those greens, I can see some Bermuda coming through. I don't have the knowledge or to be able to say, oh yeah, there's a lot of Bermuda under there. Can't see it.
How about a deep tine aeration?
Obviously, that's cultural practices, and we certainly do those. I mean, I think we're doing
I mean, all
3
we're
or 4 of
using
them.
now are small times. I'm like, is that what
It's
we're
that
doing?
time of year, right? We're not pulling major cores yet. That usually starts late April, May,
Yeah,
because you want the ability to grow it back in.
May.
I mean, right now, we're still getting some colder weather and some nights. And I know enough to know that 150 is your magic temperature gauge. So if you had your high and your low, that's when we get our best growth for Bermuda.
Okay.
So, I mean, if we're at 80 and 60 or 50 at night, we're not quite there.
So it's a consideration then when the warmer temperatures kick in.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we'd love to put out fertilizer first, get it going really fast before we aerify so it fills in. But I mean, aerification is trying to get really airflow down there and relieve compaction.
Do you have these issues with any other courses in your
We've
portfolio?
had more issues in the last 12 months than I've had in the last 6 years. And ultimately, I believe, it's my personal opinion, it has a lot to do with the drought and the fact of our water supplies.
Why is it the other courses in this area don't have? Never mind. And one of them redid their greens with exactly what we did with our greens, and they're perfect right now. They have the same drought. They have the same water. They have the same weather.
Correct.
They have the same.
Excuse me. This is public comment, so if you have a comment, we recommend that you come to the, this is not open question period. This is public comment.
Obviously, I'll address it. I mean, I can walk down the street and every yard's going to look different, right? Everything's got a different soil, everything else, different programs that we're putting out there. I'm not going to say that they've got a better superintendent. They've got a better program. They probably did this year, had a better program because they got better results. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for results in a program. So obviously they got results this year that we didn't get. But I mean, I know several of those courses weren't in very good shape 2 years ago when we were in much better shape, right? So it's one of those things, we've had issues at, like I said, several courses, and some of mine are absolutely pristine too. And we have ultimately same guys overseeing them. There's different staffing levels, but we certainly are, working the plan and evaluating it all the time.
So I have a question that kind of on top of Randy's. Again, I've not been on the course for a week or so, but somebody told me 18 is very good. And the putting green right there is very good. And that's deer. And then the rest of the deer is not very good. Why would that one hole be different? If we're using all the same practices.
Correct. I mean, it's the same, right? I mean, when you get disease, I just found out yesterday that we're filling our tank with district water and it has a high pH level. And ultimately, when I was told about that, it's the fungicides at the level, we're at 8, they diminish the effectiveness in half. So, I mean, it's the same thing. We can mow a green and it would be perfect. The next green may have a disease. If we mow it and we go to the next green, we move that disease to that green. So you can, my guess is 18 gets mowed probably 18 and the putting green usually get mowed first in a lot of cases. So we may have had some disease issues. Obviously, we've run soil tests. We know there was some, I think it was root rot, right, Mike, that was in there. So identified some diseases that we did have.
Okay. Any other questions?
Randy, please stand up so we all can hear. Talk into the microphone so everyone can hear.
And I want to clarify this before, I think I know where he's going. I know about the water that we're pumping out on the golf course, irrigation water. We've had that problem and we've identified it, and the district was good enough to buy an acid injection system. But at the maintenance facility, when we fill the spray tank that we spray with, we use water from the district, right? City water didn't test it because it's already tested. And, just out of a whim, it was tested. because we weren't getting what we wanted, and we found out. And I don't even know if Boz knows this because I found out yesterday and I haven't verified it. So but that's where we are. You know, we can go back to, we have a plan in place to treat that water now to make sure we have it. And I know I shared that with you this morning. We had a quick discussion.
So it was improper supervision, basically.
If you're dealt something that you don't know, I mean, obviously, we don't test drinking water normally because we don't have that issue. It's already tested. So it's something that we've encountered for the first time here or anywhere else. I've been in the business since I was 12, never encountered that anywhere.
So is our city water out of whack or is it?
It's drinkable, right? It's high pH. Jimmy told me it was an 8. That's high on the pH level for fungicides. That's all. I mean, it certainly passes. I don't want everybody leaving here thinking they can't drink the water. I've filled up 3 times
I
already.
guess my question is, has it always been 8? We just never known it.
I don't know. Right?
We don't have
It's
that
always been
answer.
high. It's always been high.
Probably. And we never identified it, right?
Is it fixable?
Yeah. I mean, we just now we fill the tank, we treat it, and then we can then put the chemicals in. So it's just an extra step.
Okay. Can you give us an estimate on when we can get sod? An estimate on when we can get sod?
I will contact my agronomist first thing in the morning. My guess is, and he'll be on the phone with the turf farm. I can have something to Boz tomorrow afternoon,
Thank you.
if not earlier.
Okay. Thanks for your time, Brian.
That's it.
Yep.
Boz, I'd just like to say that I know there's a lot of concerned golfers about this, but I'm just one supervisor, but I'm pretty tired of listening to this. I mean, I for one, I'm only one supervisor, but I will not ever vote to do away with a golf management company and turn it over to not just you, any district manager. And that's nothing personal.
I got you, sir.
It's just not something I'm ever going to do. So, and I'm just, it seems like every 2 months we hear from the same people, the same problem. And it's just time the board of supervisors will decide when we do something, not what Boz thinks, not what I think. It's us as a group. And we just got a lot of other stuff to worry about. And I want those greens good. I mean, I moved here because I was a golfer, but I just want to make it clear, I am not going to vote to turn the golf courses over to our district manager ever while I'm here. That's it.
So,
I'm not going to lose any sleep over that.
So essentially, the conversation's done for now. We're doing nothing today.
Yes, sir.
we're going to keep true.
And that 380 is going to be very hard for me to vote otherwise as well.
Agree.
Right.
I guess what I would ask then is clarification from this board is, are you requiring a Troon update on greens to come from corporate? Or are you still comfortable with Mike and Jimmy providing the feedback as Troon employees? Because that's the go around we've been doing for 3 years now.
No,
Is that
I'm perfectly happy with Jimmy and Mike.
okay?
You know,
As long as we're getting reports from Jimmy
Yeah.
on it.
Yes.
Honestly, I can't remember the last time that we actually had a physical report that tells us what he's doing and what he's going to do to make it better.
yeah. And I think that
After every golf advisory meeting, we push out a report from the agronomist because we tie it to that discussion and we push it out to all members as well as
I
residents.
saw it in there.
Yeah, so I mean, we can do more communication, but
Mhm.
that's what we send on a regular basis. And then if there's any special visit or special information, then they send me a draft, we review it, and I send it out as well. So. Okay. Moving on to your 25K, sorry for the eye chart. Usual stuff, the insurance, our Duke Energy, our Haskell engineers. Next month, the wastewater folks will be here to give you an update on phase one, the work they're doing out west there. So that'll be a workshop that they'll provide some feedback on. They're coming next week to talk to some staff stuff with our utility department. And then you have the emergency repair for the water heaters that we just finally paid, as well as our healthcare and so on. So nothing out of the norm there. There's the minutes, the notes, I'll call it, from our golf notes after every meeting. So that was last month. It's again, an eye chart, but it covers a host of things to include some of the cultural practices. We have no, to Mr. Gilpin's point, the other groups, advisory groups, there's been no meetings, no update on pedestrian. The only change in the 250th is that we had another $10,000 donation to help us with that. So we're up to about 27,000, which is helping us with that project and moving out with some of the initiatives there. At the Soda Festival this weekend, we'll have a booth that will be marketing our 250th. So combination Sun and Lake. So if you've been downtown, next to the Irish Pub, Commerce Street, will be a Sun and Lake booth. Please come on by, support the team that's there this weekend, and they'll be just explaining to people as well as signing up people for the 5K, pickleball, the art exhibits, everything else, and that'll be this weekend, as well as you'll see it at the Music in the Park here Thursday, as well as later this month.
How about the beer fest on the circle in 2 weeks?
We will be there too, sir. We'll be there. We're going to try marketing that as much as we can. So.
That's when you'll probably see me.
Okay, we'll see you then.
What time is that, boss?
All day Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 5.
10 to 5.
Yes,
Thank
sir. No update on Doge. And subject to your questions, the only thing I would offer, this is our HR director, Ariel's last board meeting. She'll be departing the district after 8 years. So I'll turn the floor over to her for her parting comments.
Wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, so just a life update for us, taking a different turn for our family. Very appreciative for my 8 years. It's been wonderful, the wonderful leadership, being a part of a really great team. I am proud of the team. I am proud of Sun and Lake and grateful for the opportunity to learn and grow and take on some different responsibilities. And just wanted to say thank you to everybody for the time that I've been able to serve the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ariel. I was here when you were hired, so I'm glad that you're doing things that you want to do.
And subject to your questions is all we have from the staff. Subject to any guidance from board.
You guys have any?
Nope.
Maybe we should bring that. Any final comments from the public on what Bob just spoke about?
Any comment at all?
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Mr. Bishop
Thank
Kovac.
you.
Thanks for coming by.
Sure.
Meeting adjourned.